Alrighty. Let's see. Like, check on. Okay. You never know with these things. Sometimes it might mute, like, even if you start it, and then it's like, hey, let's just mess with you a little bit. Anyway, welcome. That looks good. Okie dokie. Here we go. Setting things up behind the scenes. I think everything's. Everything's looks on. Okie dokie. Hello. There we go. Okay. Should be looking good. One more. There we go. Okay. I think I'm ready. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are ready too. Alrighty, here we go. Hi. Let me get my waving hand. Hello. Hello everyone. Welcome. Let maybe more people come on in. Wait for you guys up, but I'll start going. So hi. Looks like Sabrina and Cookie. Hello. For everyone else who's slowly coming in, hello to you too. Alrighty. Had a good weekend. I guess instead of taking a break, I actually overclocked myself in a way. I worked overtime, I guess, more than I usually do. So during the weekend, I was like super focused on really working on the movie, the Paper Derpy movie. It's actually coming along. Well, at least it feels more solid. At least I know more groundwork of what the scope of it is. It feels more solid. I started to like render a couple shots. I started to render some 3D Blender shots and started to compose the whole composition to start making the entire chapter together. So I started putting that all in a line and editing in Premiere, like adding those all the shots in a sequential linear fashion. So let's see. I think the chat disappeared. Let me see if I can restart that. Was it there or did it like, I wasn't looking. Did it like disappear? What happened? I got a little sleepy. I'll just kind of reset it, see what happens. There we go. Okay. And that's working for now. So yeah, the movie was about, the way that I set it up was that I wanted it to like have like a huge section and then go on to completely new environment and then have a cliffhanger after that. So that whole extra bit was going to be like a whole minute more. So I decided to, try to try to figure out if I can cut that down and just say let's just have the first 2 minutes of that 3-minute chapter just cut that up, slice it up into 2 parts. So I was going to be trying cool and figure out and say like, hey, look at how cool it is. I can do 3 minutes worth for you guys. And it's getting worked on. We're freaking out. There we go. Trying to do 3 minutes, and now I'm trying to say like, yeah, let's just get it down to only be about 2 minutes. So weirdly, that feels more substantial to me. So, yeah, let's see though. For burnout, you should never work 100% efficiently all the time. I do take breaks. They're just less frequent, I suppose. And as a hi Ben, let me get my waving arm. There we go. Hello, hi Ben. Yeah, I know. Says, yeah, my toes would probably be very good. I'd be able to grip it pretty well, actually. Think about it. Let's start working on this because I think this might take a while. Or not. We'll see. I'll just see what we got so far and just remind ourselves since it's been a week or so. Oh yeah, there's also a new Harmony version, so I could talk about that as well. Supposedly it's 2 times faster like rendering and stuff, playback, and if there's a heavy scene, heavy with a lot of characters, backgrounds, whatever, assets, it can go up to 2 times, maybe more, better efficiency. So, fortunately, I'm using Toon Boom 20, and Toon Boom 21 came out today. I woke up this morning, like, looked at my Twitter, and like I follow Toon Boom on Twitter, and we're gonna work on this shot. And was like, hey, introducing Toon Boom 21, and it's like, Toon Boom is so weird. Of like, they have these major releases, and then like, they always shadow drop it, where they never like say like, all right, guys, you guys gotta get ready. We're gonna, you know, your butts aren't ready for this version. They just shadow drop it and say like, hey, on the day of, you know, here it is, you know, check it out, download it, whatever. Here's like 50 new features and stuff, as in like all these videos and explaining different features and stuff, and it's like, what? So I've figured out that you just have to be on top of it to like know when it actually happens, or else, you know, you'll be left behind a little bit or not know about it. Oh boy. Hello, cartoons, little wave. Yeah, Izzy has the tennis ball. Oop, yeah, I added that. That was like a vote in like the last 5 minutes of a stream a couple weeks ago. So I added that in. So we're gonna animate Sunny today, where she's gonna kind of just blink and then look up. So it's gonna be pretty simple, but we'll see how that goes. So it'll just be up to timing it nice and opposing her. So I'll start on that. But yeah, with Toon Boom 21, they added a lot of miscellaneous sort of stuff. It's kind of like, you know, there's not like a huge like flash killer kind of like huge thing that's like, oh man, if you have Toon Boom, then you're like way better than the Flash Boys or whatever. You know, it's kind of like, oh, you can now have a brush that understands where your pen angle is, so you can draw with different flexibilities or something. It's like, oh, okay. So that kind of stuff of like, well, that's nice to have, I suppose. Like, I didn't think I needed that, but sure. I'll take it. Does it still have the hair movement? Maybe. Let's see. The hair should, yeah, its hair seems to be magnet to the head position. That's fine. Let's get a poser. She's basically in the same right position and pose that I want, so that's good. From an earlier shot, I can kind of start to figure this out. So yeah, I downloaded it, I got it ready, but this application here is still Toon Boom 20, so I could be using it, but I feel like it's a little bit safer. That's what I'm going to try and say, is that it'll be safer to use Toon Boom 20 just to like keep going and just finish this project first, and then yeah, once I get the get this done and then feel confident in it. I'm gonna remember what I did to these legs here. There we go. I just want to set this leg to be straight down. I feel more confident if I can work with this 20 version, and then I'll feel good. Because otherwise I feel like just using a new software and anything, you never know what it's going to be like. So, a little purple. You never know if it's like, if it's going to be like Sonic, the new Sonic remake game, where it's like, yeah, you know, it's new, so that means it's good, you know, it's fine, you know. You can always trust it. So I'm not going to just blindly work on that and try to work on, you know, 21 before I know what people think of it or if it's good or not. I did play around with it for like 10 minutes today. I didn't really notice too much really different. I noticed that all my settings and all my panels and everything is I don't know. I forgot how much I customized the look of every single panel. So all these different things, like I forgot, like, oh, I had these little things. I forgot I had a perspective panel, which is like this, so it's like you can see how 3D got out of pan. Anyway, that's a 3D environment. So all these different things that I forgot how to, I had to like manually, I guess, set up. I'm also not able to click on certain things. I might have to figure that out and say, hey, don't be making me click on that. There we go. Okay. Yeah. They're going for a theme this time with Toon Boom 21. It's eating or food. Kind of go for that Ghibli looking pretty food kind of style. Which isn't too bad. I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, not that impressive. Let's see. Definitely they're better artists and animators than me. So it's like, yeah, I probably would have been contacted to make a whole Toon Boom reel. Let's see. I can probably figure out stuff like that. Let me just time this out then. So the next thing that happens is that she blinks. Probably should figure out as well where these come in. So let's see. I'll definitely use 21, but probably not for this project. I won't like migrate what I have. That's what I was saying, like as if 21 had some whatever you want to analogize as a game-breaking bug or whatever, then I wouldn't want to be stuck using 21 for the rest of the project, you know. If I do a whole bunch of stuff in here, migrate it to 21, have it break, and then I'll be, well, can I bring it back to 20 and continue working on it? You know, that's kind of like the unfair, you know, things kind of break. So, hello, Flurry. So I'm just being cautious and like just gonna keep working on, keep working with 20, and then yeah, when we do a new project, I'll definitely migrate. I'm glad you asked, Matrix. I sure do. I'm calling my Paper Derpy movie, even though it's somewhat not as grand as I thought it was. In 2017, it seemed to be the most like, it's definitely the most ambitious I've done in a while. Up to that point, I guess. So, I would say that. I've been working on that, yeah, for about 4 years, so that's what I was saying at the beginning. Is that I've been working on that over the weekend. But hi there. So some things break with the master controller, but it'll be fine. I can just clean it up. Important thing is to see the timing of this, so I can look through here and say, right about here. Let's have her head move down a little bit. I can't move it actually too far more down, so I'll have to move it a little bit up slightly. And then, when she blinks, I'll have her look down. And then lift it back up. So now we got this. Blink. Blink. These master controllers are as smart as I put into it, so if I do something dumb with it, like the hair and the ear mask is incorrect, then obviously it's not gonna work as great. Definitely does the job pretty well. Let's just move it down slightly. Okay. Maybe it's a bit too much high. Probably like a slower ease in or something. just gonna bring it down. Definitely need more time as well. So let's move everything back a bit. So for here, get to select everything. Probably should unlock. Selected everything. Yeah, that's probably what the 21's probably going to be able to do. Something selecting everything a little faster, hopefully. Gonna select everything and move everything over. 1, 2, 3, 4 or so. So I have a little bit more time and slow it down just a smidge. So it's only a fraction of a second. But that still feels better. I can add maybe like one, 2. Move this down. Let's see. Beep. Let's see. Everyone saw the new second trailer. Yeah, I saw it like really on like a phone, and then like it was like embedded, so it was like really, really small. I'm trying not to watch anything more than that initial trailer. I don't want to be spoiled too much before I watch the movie. It's only gonna come out in like 20 days or less, so it's like I'm okay with you know, with waiting just a little bit longer. It'll be okay. Gonna have one more frame here. Okay, I'm okay with that. There's been a couple trailers. They've been really I just got scared for a sec. The trailers have been kind of all over the place. They've been in some toy ads and some Netflix places and just like regular YouTube, so it's like it's kind of have to like search for it weirdly, you know. It's not quite there's no hub for it. If you wanted to like watch every trailer, you know, you would have to find it in different places. So I'm gonna Animator. Keyframe it. Okay. But yeah, I sort of saw it, but not super really. Let's see. Yeah. Sounds like it's using this busy. There was that hub ad. Remember the hub? Like in 2010. There was like an ad TV spot for like, there's a pony for that, where like the Apple ad of it being like, well, yeah, there's a pony for that, can it like sing, you know, like whatever the apps of 2010 were. I first thing I thought it was TikTok, so whatever that would be. Beep. Because I selected it now, it's still got it. So I keep having to do this. This is the color card, so it's actually like a physical element that's actually in 3D space, and so I sometimes can't click on some elements because this is actually here. It's like it's physically in front of some element, so I can't click on something behind it because it exists. So that's what I have to keep doing. Yeah. The hub was such a cool concept. It's just a shame that it never really had its true stride, you know? It was more like the place just to watch pony, and then everything else just kind of tried doing LPS and trying to do those other Pound Puppies and Transformers, and then what else do you remember from it, you know? Dan Versus, you know? What else was like the exclusives? I mean, I guess all those other networks, they always start with the more licensed stuff. So that's probably all the 50s and whatever is the older shows because they think license them easier. Like Dan versus, I didn't quite watch it. I think my mom was like really upset about it because like it's so it's so negative. She's like, what? He's like a jerk, and it's like, well, that's the point. But yeah, it was like overkill of his personality. I'm gonna just rush that down a little bit. Does any of those kind of like shows like really live on past the hub? Once they like switch to Discovery Family and all that, did any of them really live past that to go on to the Discovery Family? I don't even know. So we would care about breed of horses, so that's such a shame. Let's see. This is going good. So she's like looking at Izzy now. Such a weird expression. I think it kind of goes down too far. So I'll just kind of play with that. There we go. Oh boy. Really gonna be really reach more than ever. Plasma, hello, and hello, Dicey. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, it was your guys' kind of pick in a sense. There we go. What do I have here? We chose way long ago, like even was it even like July or something? We were making the deciding what to do for this animation, and just for my own sanity, we only picked like 2 of the 5 to make sure that I didn't go insane. So yeah, I didn't want to work myself too hard for this short little animation, and so we can also focus on like a couple different characters as well and go, okay, here's like these specific characters, and I can just work with that more than trying to do literally every character, because then it gets way too complex. So if we had chosen and voted to choose those other characters, then this animation would be very, very different. Yeah. Hello, fan. Let's do everything. Hello. Really, these have animations as well. Okay, so that works. So I can start to use my deformers. Definitely not a flash tool here. This beats the flash deformer out of the water. It's incredible. Just being able to like kind of swoosh these assets like butter. That's so great. It's very intuitive for me as a vector artist, because these are the Bezier handles I'm very used to. I've been using Bezier handles for like over 7-8 years. It's crazy. I want it to be more inquisitive, so maybe it should be more like that. How's that? So it'll be more arched, and then something more like that. I'm like leaning back. Feels too grumpy. It should be up a little bit. There you go. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, this is Toon Boom Harmony 20. I guess I have to keep saying that as there's a newer version now. But yeah, works really well. I've been a Flash animator for about the last 4 or 5 years, and now I've started to work in Toon Boom and it just feels like night and day. It's really incredible. That's like what you're able to do with Toon Boom. It's the industry standard for a reason, you know? It's like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be? This is really incredible. Of just the amount of like flexibility and just what kind of stuff you can do with it. I'll lift this up. There we go. What happened? I just kind of cut a little too far. In between that, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm more of a puppet builder, more of a, they call it cutout or puppets. It's basically just having a billion different elements, all of this going on, all these nodes and elements and strings connecting different pieces together. This is just a head. Obviously you can see like this is just the eye, another eye, the head. The hair is incredibly complex. And the helmet. It's this complex just so I can have more flexibility to move different elements around, you know. If I did more frame by frame stuff, then I probably wouldn't need this much stuff. Obviously, just draw it and be one, you know, one quote element at a time. You're not also trying to do separate it into this many pieces, I suppose. So, but if you like doing this, I definitely would recommend this sort of structure. It's really fun. It's very nice workflow. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. Oh, TV Paint. Yeah, I haven't used TV Paint, so I don't have an opinion on that or any kind of conclusion for that. So sorry. TV Paint, I believe, is more traditional, like I was saying, like with more hand-drawn. You're just kind of just drawing one element at a time, like a one layer or something. Maybe more flat. Maybe the other one should stay confused. So I can probably just unkeyframe a couple of these, and there we go. And then strengthen it. There you go. So it's kind of bends in the middle for the blink and then goes back up into that position. So I could probably in between this a little bit more, make this flat. And then strengthen it there. There you go. Beep. Toon Boom 21 has an extra feature that like lets you has a drop-down menu that kind of like has it be like what the visuals are, like high quality, low quality, and like a fourth quality, half quality sort of stuff, so you can like render it, playback it faster. So that's what I like to do. Just obviously you see me just keep reviewing it over and over to see what this looks like, and seeing what I can do to fix certain things or what I can do. Okay. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. So it'll just be up to now fixing a couple things, which honestly is just my fault, not trying to hide that out. So I believe I've just moved this down. Let's see. Deformer on here. Okay, so I move this over a bit, move you. Yep. Select it. Select it good. And then use this. How you guys been doing? So this is gonna get a little tedious with this. Actually, I want that. I want to have this be down. Let's see. Well, I'll wave to everyone I forgot to say hello to before. Sorry to make it up for you. Let's see though. Because of the what did I say? Range velvets. Yeah. So that's a comment I like to revisit in your life. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I'm gonna just go in and each keyframe of this. So obviously if I did this more better, wouldn't have to do this sort of crazy cleanup. Obviously this is kind of slow as well, so. Oh well. It's not too many keyframes with this, I don't think. But yeah. Just gonna get that out of the way. There we go. Now, if these don't work or whatever, then I'll just got to just go back in and clean it up more. And say, yeah. Okay. Couple more. Gotta reset it and then figure out what's about. These could be reconfigured. This will be the last one. Okay. So what I was doing was, hopefully that made any sense, is that I have this shape here that says, hey, ear only exists when this shape exists. So inside of this frame here. And so I was like playing with the angles of the shape here. So yeah. So like, this got really complicated with that, but that's the way to get this going. So there you go. And you barely notice it. If you're not looking for it, then that's fine. There you go. And because of the way that I think I have the hair working with dynamic springs, let's see if that's on. Active 100. Yeah, so for all of this time frame in here, it's set to on. So that's good. Oh boy. Follow out a quest for G5. I know. It seems like our fandom definitely hit like some sort of dent over the last year or so. It's hard to tell with, you know, you can't really go by Equestria, Everfree Northwest, you know, how many people came, like less than 10,000, probably like around 6,000, 5,000 people. So it's like, yeah, we would just need the numbers to really have that be more of a plausible situation, I guess. Let's see. So I can actually kind of go back in and start to play with this now. And say, hey, how about instead it becomes more of a angle. Or something like that. Feels a little looser now. Okay. So now board layers will be to let's see. Well, I was just talking about Pony in general, I guess. I don't know basically anything about fan fiction stuff, so if there's like still like thousands of people doing that, then great. Just personally me, I don't personally know just how many was the fandom like, you know. So sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, I just gotta pay attention to like my cartoon realm, I guess, of like, okay, so I kind of know most of the animators, so I'm sorry if I don't know too much of the writers. There's just so much to know, man. So many areas, like our Venn diagrams of pony knowledge and stuff just really is expansive, so there's a lot. So what I'm doing is animating her whole body. It's gonna have this squatch and stretch to gonna have a little bit more move for her body there. And I notice that the neck will probably have to be adjusted as well. Neck, torso. I think this is it. Not able to select this. That's a little awkward. I think my playhead also broke, so that's fun too. I've heard different ways to fix this issue. Maybe this is one of the fixes they got in 21. See how my red line doesn't go all the way down? So I'm trying to fix how to get that. Might have to restart it, just the way that I can't select things and timeline's not working as good. Yeah. It's gonna be a scary nose symbol, so I'm just gonna probably have to restart the program because I can't select anything in here and it says not to. Okay. I'll restart Toon Boom, I guess. I'm actually not really sure what happened. Just started clicking weird. So we'll can do this one. Yeah. All right. Hang on. So we gotta close it and then restart it, and then we'll be right back. So how are you guys doing? Let me just completely close it and restart it. Let's see. So when farmers that I have to watch on Netflix, not on TV. I don't want to pay for it. I just want to watch it like Oh, I hear you. Yeah. I guess we get too spoiled, and our family has like half of them, or like it's a crazy amount of different subscription services. So it's kind of like, oh, is it on this one? Okay, you know, sure. Let me just boot that up, I guess. And kind of figure out which one it is. Oh, I think it worked. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just a glitch that I've had a couple times. Probably like some sort of, that almost scared me. The timeline disappears a little bit. Okay. And we should have animation. Yes. Okay. I think it's actually a pretty good move to do it on Netflix, even if they probably got the rights, you know, way after or way before current events, you know. So it's kind of like just a happy accident if it was. So I have a curve deformer on her neck. So I can start to pose this neck to kind of match with her head angle and body here. There we go. Okay, thank you, Purple Toast. Super appreciate it. Sorry that weird glitch happened, but we're back now. Okay, so I'm just gonna see right about. I'd like to make this angle here a little bit smaller. Which having this be more fleshy and definitely adds a little bit more slight realism, I guess, that they're all kind of, instead of being like a solid one-piece puppet, it's like, oh look, it's got individual movements for different pieces. So I like doing these kind of small things. Afterward, I would probably work on the hair, but that's actually pretty much done. So that's actually kind of helpful. That's like, okay. Because I got the simulation, hair simulation done. I don't actually have to work about it. I have to animate it. Kind of goes back in too far, so I'll just remove that keyframe. That works. And some right here. Okay. It's the 24th, I believe, which is like a Friday. So it's like not too far off, really. Let's see. I'm not sure if they were going to do it in theaters, but it's definitely worked out that it's going to be in the on Netflix. Let's see. So I'm going to move the head to now kind of work with the new neck animation I got. Saving. Hello, Jorge, I believe. Welcome. So I'm going to transform the head. Beep. Oh, the head's big. Whoa, there's the head deformers. Every single hair piece has multiple deformers, and the helmet has a bunch. And hidden stuff like the helmet move. Okay. I'm just gonna realign the head now with how I animated the neck. To kind of make this look a little better. Moves over too far. Let's see. Okay. Let me start the playback here and end here. So I can just kind of, I can freely loop and see how I like that. Probably adds a little bit more, but I think you're going to be looking at the head and the emotion anyway, so they kind of like body bop. Not too worried about that. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. Does that match our storyboard? I don't know what that was. Let's see. Is it good only in our country? We will see in cinemas. Even with the my, I'm not actually sure what you're trying to say. Depends on what our country is. If our country, okay, so the thing is that in US, the movie is gonna go, I think, either exclusively on Netflix or maybe some select theaters. I know for the Quest Girls, the first movie was actually in cinemas and select ones. And so we had a little, family, had a nice trip, actually, drove over like 2 or 3 hours to go to a cinema. That was like, obviously pretty far away, to be 3 hours away, but, it was fun and we got to watch the movie there. But yeah, I think for what it is, I think it is gonna just be Netflix exclusive. It's not gonna, really be anything more or less than that. I don't know about other countries. There might have been some other countries that are going to do something similar, but probably not as, you know, extensively as a full-blown release or anything like that. You know. focusing on now. Making the characters a little bit taller. And bring it downtown. Very slightly. There you go. That adds a little bit more bounce to it. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Reading your stuff. Did to get permission to make animation of these characters. For My Little Pony, especially for G4, I mean, they could probably change their minds for G5, for all I know. But G4, Hasbro was very, like, overwhelmed, to say the least, of the fan outpour of all the bronies and stuff, to say, like, that's more than they can do as the DMCA for every single, red flag or whatever. So they had to pick their battles. They definitely picked what they thought was either too show accurate or were damaging the brand in a harmful way. So Button's Adventure was going too far down into the looks like the real show, that it became DMCA'd for that reason. Is what the most logical reason for that. And anything else that would be too not good for the target audience sort of cartoons would probably also be picked and choose to say, like, that's not quite what our, for Hasbro's stance, like, that's not quite what aligns with the target audience and branding for Pony. So they get overwhelmed, and it's like that would be too much, and also be a bad PR statement to say, like, you get headlines of, oh, Hasbro says no to fan-made content. Look at them copyright strike all of these, beautiful fan art stuff. And it's like, oh, that's not what they want to have. They don't want to have those kind of like, oh, Hasbro hates their fans, let's be mad at them and stuff. So they're allowing all the fandom stuff, but they definitely have ground rules of certain picking and choosing stuff that's like, that's not what they want for very specific reasons. So, yeah. So you don't quite have to, have a permission slip or whatever. You don't need a hall pass to say, I'm gonna work on a pony thing. Can I do it, Hasbro senpai? You can just kind of just do it. But just be aware that you can be, at any point, they always have their hand on the trigger to always be, you're always liable to be DMCA'd or whatever. So make something that's probably going to be what Hasbro would like, So obviously this is not going to be harmful to brand or look like the actual cartoon or the movie, because this is 2D cartoon, so it's definitely not going to be confused with the movie, and doesn't confuse anyone, hopefully. So let's see. Getting better, thank you. Getting better at animating, thank you. I didn't watch the whole show on YouTube. G4, you can watch the whole show. Yeah, I mean, they had like the Apple iTunes definitely was a $2 per cartoon or an episode, so there was that. So let's see. I think the ear actually has a brightness contrast. Yep. So let's just start playing with that and figure out what keyframes and stuff. I need to figure this out. Going on here. Let's see. I'm still waiting for a new episode of My Little Portal. It's a long way to go. I remember that. Yeah, that started way long ago. Yeah. So I'm gonna see. So it's actually set to dark here, so I'm actually going to set this one to be 0. So that should set the ear to now be bright. Let's see, does that work? I can't actually tell. It's only 10% difference. The only reason the ear should be dark, let's see, is if it's on the wrong side. So I don't think somebody's... Where are we? For here. Actually, that one's okay. And then, let's see. Gonna go a couple frames later and see where does it go. Thank you. Got a package. Go back here. So we go forward a little bit. Trying to see right about where the ear needs to go back to 0 actually. 0. So now it's bright again. And I think for the rest of it, she's going to be looking this way anyway. So I'm going to get rid of these keyframes. So now it should stay bright. So now if I go back to where this animation is, it should be the same color, sort of. It's hard to tell. Let me see. Sorry. It says it's 0. I'm going to go back to the beginning here. And add a keyframe. And this should be 0. So that should definitely keep it there. Okay. If you couldn't tell what I was doing, let me get to a good position here. So I can add keyframes with these crazy, whatever you want to call it, as Bezier editor. So I can set this to be -100, and that should make the brightness for the ear change color. So before it was like a -10, which was like slightly dark. So I wanted it to be full bright. So I had to remove that keyframe. There we go. So about malware's update. So what I noticed that the master controller made it darker again. So I had to go in there and fix it. There we go. Okay, so this is what it should render as. Or this is what it should render as. Yeah. Okay. How we doing? Hello, and bye, Sasha. Hope Netflix doesn't ruin their lovely impression. Yeah, that's a completely different topic. That'll be... Netflix isn't making a movie. I don't think so. Netflix would be like... would be like a Walmart or like a Target or whatever. You know, if you buy hand cream from Target, and if you don't like the flavor or whatever, do you blame Target because they sold it? And it's like, you know what I mean? So you gotta pick the right person to blame with that. So for that particular reason, I would say that Hasbro, the script writers, and all the people, creatives working on it would be would be more closer to the actual issue of that. So so let's see. So I want to be clear with that Netflix isn't producing the movie, they're distributing it. It's like they're licensing their it's like you're like a library, you know, like a library, the brick and mortar building can say, hey, book publisher, I want to have that book, please, to have in my library, you know, and then the book publisher writer can say, okay, here you go. They'll have some kind of deal, and then the book, the product, then can then be sold, not really, can then be inside of the library for people to also enjoy. So yeah, just want to be clear with that. What is this? Let me know. I mean, that's just like, Netflix can, once the trade is good, then Netflix can kind of do whatever they want with whatever they want to do. It's also just branding identification as well, to say like, oh look, you know, you're watching this channel or you're watching this brand or whatever. Is just to say like, yep, you're watching this, so that's okay. There's no real foul in that. It's just like if you're upset about it, then it's like that's in a way more on your side than anything else. Per se there. So sorry about that. Let's see. I'm kind of toiling around because I think I got this pretty much done, and I don't want to work on the next shot because it's going to be its own horse to work with. We'll work on this with this. I did move this a little bit longer. Where is my fade outs? See, they end here, so I'm gonna move this here over here, and then I'm gonna see just how long this goes on for. Okay, so it ends here. Okay. No. Okay. So let's set the beginning back to here and have it end all the way back here. Actually, it can end right about here-ish. Where are we? 240. Beep. And I'm gonna have this scene end at 240 as well. There you go. Let's put easy back on, turn off composite for the storyboards, and so that should work. Okay. If I had 21, I'd be able to have this be a little bit lower quality, I would think. I think that's how it works. I don't know. There's so many features that are better. Oh, we can do the rock real quick. How about that? Let's get rid of the fade out. And I can add the drawing that we had from last time. So with our rock group. With all this cool stuff. Literally our cool stuff. See how much we can add on to it. So what I could do is probably just copy and paste and start working from there. Onto this rock. Wherever it is. There it is. Let's see. I guess there will be bonus viewers on MLP. Having a little trouble trying to figure out what you're trying to say, Dicey. It's like a fun decoding thing. They mean like on MLP. Like there's like how they have cell phones and social media in the movie. Then there'll be pony streamers also on the on the movie as well. But then I'm not too concerned about too much of these story stuff until like it actually comes out and I can do a proper diagnosis of it, you know. So after the trailer, it's just like gonna pick and choose specific funny or funny moments from the movie, picking and choosing. So it's not gonna be representative as much as, say, like the actual movie. So you can speculate and have fun with it, but it's kind of what happened when Star Wars and stuff with those sequel trilogy stuff is like people got too invested in their headcanons that once 8 and 9 came out, people were like, that's not my headcanon of what I wanted to happen. And so people got upset when literally none of that was going to, you know, happen in the first place. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you just let them have fun, have the directors and story people and creatives have their own fun with their headcanons as well and respect that. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna put too much more for that. Does it change picture? Nope. Okay. I thought it flashed for a bit. We'll have fun. It'll be okay. Yeah. Well, that was just like a quick example that I just thought of. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I've been recently been watching a whole bunch of diagnoses into why people think that the 789 stories are not the best. So, yeah. Let me go back out. Let me get my rock group. Rock art. Rock crayon. Oh yeah, there it exists. There we go. So we got this, and we got rock art. Okay. In a sense, I could copy and paste all of this, but I think I'll just probably just have to pick and choose my own stuff here. Where did they go? There you are. Okay, so I'm gonna copy. Go back here. Izzy. Rock throw. Find it. There you are. Okay. It's gonna have to play with layers for just one hot sec here. Okay, so there's all my stuff. I'm going to put rock, color art layer, overlay of cool, put that on line art, underlay art, all this, copy to overlay art, move overlay art, all this. Oh. Try to drag it. Yeah, it's too heavy. Is there just an easy transform of this? No. Let's take it and make it into solid pieces once they overlap. There we go. That might help it a little bit. Still hard to grab it. There you go. Yep. So it's over there. And we'll make it much smaller. And pop it right over here. Okay. So I'm gonna have to like probably figure out roughly where we had it before. That's kind of close. Okay. And so what I'm gonna have to do is going to mask the line art from the color art. I might have to make two different things. Ah, boy. Okay, new thing. Oh, the 21 has a new drawing layer stuff. There's a cool one for when you make a new drawing, have it extend the exposure for the entire length of the scene, which is like, that always comes up a lot. Rock art again, because it's like, I always want it to be exposed for like the whole scene. Usually when like making characters, you want them to expand for like more than one frame. So yeah. Let's see. So we're gonna have, where does that actually show up? That's the first frame of it. So I'll have it here. See if I can take this. I'm gonna take this, copy it, rock art, paste it, react to rock throw, delete this, go back into here, have it be exposed for the right amount of time. Wrong layer. Wrong layer again. There you go. I'm gonna have rock. Which one has the peg? This one. So actually rig it so that when that one moves along with it. So they're parented. And see where I went wrong with. It's behind it. It should be on top. Beep. There you go. So the rock throw will have to be several different pieces. This doesn't have to exist for right now because this is gonna get cut. There's gonna be a cutter. Where this is the artwork and I want it to be cut by the color art of this, going in there and going to there. Color art is wrong. I need to move this up to overlay. I need to move, copy all of this, delete the color, and then delete the lines. So now I have this all separated. So now I need the line art of the... Nope. What did I do? Line art of the rock throw. Right, this one. Place it on top. So now, what do we got? It's taking the reverse of that. That's interesting. Hello, Mario. I'm also going to need the overlay. Instead of the line art, I can probably just delete this and say overlay. No, actually, layer selector. So then I can have overlay and line art, but not color art. So let's see. I'm just about done here. I'm trying to do a fairly complex cutter and composite here. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with this. I'm trying to have it be the opposite. So I might have to just put this on the opposite. Beep. Okay, that's right. And then I want the color art to also be behind there. That works. Okay. That is all so I can have the edge of the line art of the rock not expand past the rock itself. Okay. And so I can probably see where these boys are and then just expand them so that they're a little bigger. And then realign them. Somewhere that. So anyway, you can like play with that over and over until I kind of get it just what I want. So there we go. So just kind of play with each one of these and kind of move these around until I get in the right place. So there we go. Okay. I think we're good. So now we got that, and we got all the extra little doodles on there. Poosh. And so, by having it be rigged up the way that I have it here, these all kind of, well, these are all one thing. So let me group this. Actually, the whole rock shadow should also be part of it. So now this is so complex, I'm going to add a backdrop just to visually separate it a little bit here. So this is just the rock. And the other rock, I guess. Rock. Okay. Beep, beep. Okay. What's the message box? I've gone too far. I've closed it already. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's just play it a couple times, then we'll go to toaster time, and everything should be happy. Beep. Okay. There we go. So it's trying to play. Trying to play it in real time. My computer's streaming it, and it's slow and laggy on my end. So don't you worry. It's slow on my end. There we go. So Sunny works. Oh boy. Let's move that over a little bit. Make it a little bigger. Okay. I'm doing good. I'm animating the G5 parody. Is it a parody if I'm not really satirizing it in any real way? It's more like a fan artwork animation. It's just fan animation. It's definitely collaborative fan animation. I'm thinking of more as like a collaborative Mad Libs animation more than anything else. Parody would imply that there's some, you know, satirical bite to it, I guess. There's not much cutting edge here, I guess. But yeah, so we're getting there. Just about everything up to here is done. So a lot to animate. Izzy, next time. There we go. Okay. Let's pause that. And let's go to toaster time. Okay. Whew. Spending the time trying to do all these crazy extra node stuff, like all the hair physics and stuff, kind of makes it a little bit too easy to animate in some way. And it's like, oh, I usually do a whole nother pass where I animate the hair to have all their kind of own physics and stuff. So by kind of making it do it on their own, by having Toon Boom figure out what I want the hair to look like and have the right kind of bounce and physics and stuff, it's kind of like, huh, kind of saves me a lot of time after I set it up. So, huh. Anyway, let's see here. I think I caught up. Excuse me there. Yep, yep. Yeah, any other questions or anything that I might have went over too fast? What about G5 stuff? At least on my end, I'm hopeful. I'm excited for it. For the movie. Obviously, it's a whole nother generation, so it's hard to. I actually don't know much about the crew to know how comfortable I really feel. Like, I don't know the director and script writers and most of the cast, so it's kind of like it's gonna be a whole nother. I feel like a new series, which it is. So that's good and bad. You know, we'll have potentially fresh faces working on it. But there's also the fear that now it's like might be in the wrong hands now. That's like, oh, they don't know the brand enough or know what we like about the show. You know, from what I've seen from at least the first couple trailers, it feels like feels very, I don't know, standard or very safe. You know, I mean, the worst kind of story arcs could have been there, which don't seem to be there. So that's good. It could have been like the Smurfs, like those kind of movies, the Rabbit one, Bullwinkle and Rocky and Bullwinkle, Sonic, those movies where let's take popular cartoon character and place them in New York and see how they react to dirty old white man, and let's go in a car and have a brand deal sponsored adventure where they gotta get back to their cartoon reality. I mean, that could have been the whole movie. You know, that could have been G5. So, you know, in a sense, it could be worse. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I explained was by safe. It's like it could have been a different kind of story, or just could have been not essentially dark, but just like a bit too family friendly, just kind of too you know, Disney to Shrek kind of comparison, where it's like this feels more Disney and friendly compared to how Shrek was a parody of Disney stuff, of like, you know, all the stuff that they did of making fun of how Disney does their kind of stories for fairy tales and stuff. Yeah. Came here for film, not MLP. That makes sense. Interesting. I mean, yeah. It uses out to embrace it. I mean, it's gonna be like another 3-4 years of G5 or more. Who knows? Obviously, they were gonna have a series ending with season 3 of Fem, so we all know how that happened and how that turned out. So, yeah, it could be the same with G5. If there's not a super huge interest or something, then they'll probably just have to cancel it. But the way that fandom happened is that it was so much that it's like, well, you have to keep going at that point. Yeah. Let's see. Does anybody want to see the next stream? Okay, thank you, Mithrak. That's a fun name. Oh, I also think G5 would be dark. G5 is safe. Yeah, it's if you've been around the block as much as I have, watching so many kids movies, I guess. This feels like it's not pushing the boundaries as much as other cartoons. You know, latest one I watched was Mitchell's vs. Machines, which was super like it felt like the Lego movie, but with more human characters. Like that kind of still writing of like really good, really fast paced and beautiful, stylized 3D. Not having 3D look realistic and photorealistic is a great, great idea. Having 3D look 2D, having 3D look like it's painted, Skyward Sword style of look. It looks like a impressionist, whatever those types of paintings are called. Where you can see brushworks and it looks like something that can't be captured in a camera. You know, you can't go outside and take a picture and have it look like Skyward Sword, you know, or Wind Waker, or you know, other video games that don't try to go for gritty realism, you know. And I said like a stream before is that G5's trees look realistic, and it's like a little unnerving to me because it's like we're really gonna go that route. And it's like, oh, you could have done so much more to make it more stylized and more fun looking, I guess. It's beautiful, but it's like, I don't know. That's what I mean, like it's safe because trees look like trees that I can take a picture of outside and match it up, and it's like that looks the same, you know what I mean? So yeah. It's gonna make some animatic ponies in it. Oh, awesome. That's good to hear. Animatics are a little bit of pet peeve for me, just the way that term has been tossed around to not really mean what an animatic used to mean. So at this point, I don't know what you mean by animatic anymore, because people kind of dug that term to the through the mud of like you know, just any kind of like flip book or even not even animated. Sometimes the worst is when it's like you have one picture per scene or camera shot and no other flipbook style of changing the motions or any kind of motion at all, and it's like calling that an animatic, and it's like animatics to me with my term is more the animated movie kind of style where it's storyboards that have motion to them in some capacity, you know, enough that it feels like you're watching the animation movie, whatever. Hi Buttercup, welcome. Enough that it feels like it has enough keyframes and pictures enough to feel like, oh, I can see and feel what this feels like. So if a character like is gonna do a somersault, you know, you don't just have a picture of them like standing up and going, I'm gonna do a somersault, and then you cut to the next angle and then say, look, they did it after the fact. You know what I mean? And I feel like some animatics sort of right on that line. And it's like, wait a minute. If you gave that to an animator and said, do this by these pictures, they'd be like, you don't have any poses of what exactly you want for the actual motion of the somersault, you know? And it's like, oh, well, it's in my mind or whatever is what they'll say. And it's like, just no, you're supposed to draw it out. Point of animatic is to lay all these pictures out so you can actually follow along, and so the animator can look at it and go, I have enough pictures and poses to work this out. And it doesn't have to be literally every single picture for like an entire shot, but just enough that you can actually feel like they're standing up, they hunch over, you know, a new picture for each of these poses, and then there's one where they're rolling and then they get back up, you know. And it's like that's just enough to get a feel for it, but that's not literally every single on ones or even twos poses, you know, for an animation, you know. So if it's about that quality, then good on you. But it's just hard to, you know, from just hearing that initial animatic, it's like, oh, okay. It will be like studio quality where someone will be able to just use that and then make something out of it. You know what I mean? So it's a sliding scale. Obviously, it depends on what you're doing. So maybe if it's just you working on yourself and then make a thing, and if you get to draw it, storyboard it, and animate it, then you can have more liberties to not draw out every single thing. So, yeah. Let's see. It's not like how originally I'm gonna have like your characters move each dialogue. Okay. It's gonna be like, animate that. Sending you whatever you want. Yeah, sure. I think Discord would be good. We have a Greenwater Club. Link is in the description to do that if you're not in there already. Don't think you're... I mean, there's so many people. It's hard to keep track of all of them. But yeah, that's a good segue into that if you want to join the Discord. Link in the description for that. But yeah. Move each character. Move each dialogue. Just trying to figure this out. Original. It's like how it original way. I'm going to have one of the characters move each dialogue, but it's gonna be like right that. But it's a video game, so it's a little bit different than a linear story, you know. But more power to you. More power to you, no matter what you do. If you're doing creative stuff, then great. I just get peeved when people classify things as an animatic when it's like that's a storyboard or that's a keyframed animation or that's just literally just line art for a cartoon. So, you know, it's a sliding scale. Like, what exactly you mean? So, obviously, if you're doing something creative, go for it. So, it's just on my end. So go do it. You can do it. Everyone else, you can have fun. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's gonna be a music video thing. Okay. I guess it's a little tricky. I get it. Okay. Then you get semantics with semantics or something. Is that even right? Okay. I don't know how to call storytime animators when most of them are just animatics. I mean, some of it, I watched a storytime animator video actually recently. Let's see. I wouldn't call them, the one I watched, it wasn't an animatic. It was limited animation. Like, not every single frame is expressed, but it's also colored, and it's like a cartoon, but you just remove half of the motions and frames. I mean, some of them, they just literally just kind of go whoop whoop and then switch to a different pose. So it'll be like the whoop whoop kind of a thing, and it's like, okay, for an animatic that's colored and has that kind of level of animation, then that's just animation, you know. By the strictest definition, that's just having sequential images that infer an illusion to your eye to think that these sequential images mean something. So animatics where it's just very specific poses can sort of then be called animation, but by studios they would just call it animatics. So animatics are like in between storyboards and full animation. The story time I watched was basically a hybrid of animation and animatics, where some of the time there would be shots where they're not really moving, but other times where they are being fluently moved. So it's like, what? You know, there's not enough, there's too much variety per shot that you can't really call it one way or the other, you know? So it's the call about the most fluid part of it, so is story time would actually be more animation than animatic, you know? The animatic would just be the pre-production setup. So either you make a storyboard or you make an animatic, but they're basically doing the same thing. Storyboards would just be you place a sticky note onto a wall, and then have a presenter with a big stick point at each picture, and then talk about it and then present it. Whereas an animatic is a video that has the storyboards and then might have extra effects added onto it. And then animation, we all know that, where it has fluid animation and more pictures. So but I would think most modern storytime animators, the big ones, they might be more classified as animation board than an animatic. Because animatic is mostly just used for pre-production, just to get the rough ideas for what you want. Which is weird, because when storytime animators talk about their behind the scenes and they have storyboards, and it's like, what you made there was an animatic as a video of your storyboards, and then you actually animated it, but then you call it animatic. So it's like calling, hey, look, I made this piece of bread, but you place 2 pieces of bread and meat and cheese and lettuce, and then you serve that, but called it a piece of bread, but you did extra work, but you called it a phase before that. So it's like, what? So it gets really weird with how you want to define all this. Let's see. Have I seen Rainbow Dash Presents? Yes. What you call it, the meta animation in both. I've seen, trying to figure out how. Figuring this out of it. I actually watched it recently. Again, it's sort of doing the hybrid where it has different pictures and it has different full colored pictures that are moving in sequential positions. So it's that kind of limited animation. Because again, animatic is just a pre-production. It's not really meant to be seen by the public. It's like scripts and storyboards, you know. You're not like, for a movie, handing those out to people and saying, hey, here's the script and here's the storyboard, and dropping that on people, you know. That'd be weird if, like, you go to a movie theater and the director shows up and gives everyone a script. Those materials aren't really meant to be used as the final image product of the movie. They're just there to be the backbone and make the movie itself, you know, be the actual element to create the next step. So if the Rainbow Dash Presents had storyboards / animatics, then I would call the Rainbow Dash Presents as a cartoon and animation with just limited posing. Cartoons don't have to be fluidly animated to be a cartoon. There was that one anime that they ran out of budget, or something happened where they they had keyframes, but then didn't have in-betweens or breakdowns and all the other rest of them. So it became pose-to-pose animation. I can probably find it, actually. See if I can link it. Like when you run out of budget anime or something. Budget anime. When you run out of animation budget. Yeah, we're gonna fire all the animators. Come on. I'm trying to... It's loading. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, let's share this to you guys. So this is the anime. That is, I believe has more better animation in other episodes or whatever it is. But then it's like, for this weird sequence, they gotten into this position where it's still technically a cartoon that's just became pose to pose without any breakdowns in betweens and all that. So it's literally just reusing cells, reusing backgrounds as much as they can, but literally it became like a comic, an animated comic book, where now where only the important pictures are now being drawn out. So it's like you take out all the rest of the important. You can see like how in-betweens are very, very important, because without them, all you would get would be what you see in the video. So I would still call this animation. It's just missing the important breakdowns and animations and in-betweens. So it becomes only the certain keyframes that are colored in. So again, it's not as much as being fluid as much as it being what would be the final product, I suppose. So calling things as automatics can just mean that it's a work in progress and it's meant to be, you're going to cover over it, you know. You're not going to use an animatic in your final as much as you're going to use it as a helper to say like, yeah, this is about the right composition, this is right layout, this is where the characters are, what kind of motions, you know. So it's useful for that. But for actual final picture, you would want to do a color pass of it. Not to say that animatics can't be in color, but to say that to get it done, and for the bulk of how much storyboarders would have to draw, it would be usually done in black and white or grayscale, you know. If you're gonna do color in a storyboard animatic, you would likely do grayscale. So anyway, to clear that all up, let's see. I usually end around this time anyway, so thank you for that segue. Anthroarch. Thank you. Let's see. Well, you got into my special interest. So, yeah. Gotta get the lowdown, you know, gotta drop the hammer or whatever it is. Make sure this is all understood. So, film production is very, very complicated. Obviously, it's hard to learn all of this in one day. If you don't understand something, and people might make fun of you or say like, oh, what you did was an animatic, you can just say like, no, I have, let's see, what would you want to say? If someone said, you made an animatic, or that's not an animatic, you just have to just like stand your ground and find out and say like, yeah, it's animatic if it's work in progress, and you'll clean it up and then have a polished animatic, you know, maybe later. So you only get like so far into the actual cartoon production compared to like how a final product would be. So yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, awesome. You got confused with what an animatic was, but okay. Sure thing. You've also been trying to figure out what to do with it, but you have no clue. But then you also want to talk about animation. Okay. If you're open to talk about animation, I'll be open to that too as well. Usually the Discord has been other stuff, so it's kind of hard for me to really chime in too much. But I appreciate you guys and sharing pictures and other people's fan art. That's fun, especially fan art like this. That's Yoshi Greenwater stuff, so that's fun. Alrighty, yeah, I got something to do after this, so I set about hour and a half. So yeah, I probably shouldn't end this then. Okay. Thank you so much. Hope this was. Ooh, my arms. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so I can't move it. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope this was enlightening in some sense. So yeah, next week we'll work on Izzy, and I have plans to continue working on this, but in a post-production way. I was thinking of doing sound effects and editing and adding music. I would like to do a music stream. I think that'd be fun. So look out for that. But yeah, first we'll finish the animation and then we'll work on post-production to get a full feel of how to make a cartoon. That it's much more than. Now we're not quite done. You can't really publish this to TV or anything without sound. So that's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Yep. This one. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Thank you. Alrighty. Thank you so much. Bye guys. Bye everyone.